Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 82 of Direwolf20's Let's Play of Minecraft 1.21. Continuing today to check out Theurgy. Between episodes I cooked up a few extra mercury shards, dropped them in this mercury catalyst where I determined that they do back stuff. So it looks like it stores probably about a stack worth in its buffer, and then you can probably put up to another stack in there that it'll hold on to, would be my guess. So I think this thing's like currently full of mercury catalyst power right now. So last episode we learned how to do some really basic forms of manipulation, basically converting lapis into obsidian or lapis into quartz or vice versa. I assume you could do vice versa, right? Today I want to check out the other more advanced types of conversion, which will allow me to convert different types of resources. So like gems to gems is easy, so like lapis to quartz, but like gems to ingots is more complex. That's what we're going to check out today. And then there's like easy to access resources to more difficult. So like iron to netherite would be different tiers, and we can check those out too today, maybe, depending on how long it takes to get through this. Obtaining more of an item by converting items of the same tier, but another type. Transmutation is the conversion of one type of matter into another. Example, gems to metals. Thus, transmutation deals with the already discussed challenge of sulfur resisting significant change. Due to inherent differences of the types of matter, there is often a loss or gain depending on the direction of conversion. Generally, two metals convert to one gem and vice versa. Similarly, two other minerals convert into one metal and vice versa. Consequently, four other minerals convert into one gem and vice versa. Transmutation consists of 3 steps. First, the sulfur to be transformed is fermented alchemically into niter. Example, quartz sulfur into common gems niter. And we saw that briefly last time. So if we look at niter, there's like basically like different kinds. So there's like common earthen matters, there's abundant gems, common gems, rare gems, and precious gems, right? So I'm guessing we would like break down lapis into, because I think lapis is a common gem? Where's lapis? Yeah, lapis is a common gem, right? So we can break it down into the common gem niter. I'm assuming is what's going to happen, but let's see if I'm right. Then the malleable niter can be reformed into another niter of the desired type. Example, we can convert common gems niter into common metals niter. Finally, that niter can be reformed again into the desired sulfur. Example, common metals niter into iron sulfur, right? That makes sense. While fermentation into niter overcomes the limitation of type, the other limitation of tier, as in abundant, common, rare, etc., remains. Conversion of iron into gold remains out of reach just yet, but we will probably be getting there soon. This process will be tackled after you have succeeded in transmutation. The following entries will guide you through the conversion of alchemical sulfur into alchemical sulfur iron. So we're going to do quartz to iron now. So we just did lapis to quartz, now we're going to do quartz to iron. Assuming you already obtained at least 1 sulfur of each. The instructions also apply to all other conversions within the same tier. Sweet. All right, so required apparatus. As discussed, transmutation consists of fermentation. View the apparatus category on how to craft and use the required apparatus. You will need to set up a reformation array. The usage was already discussed in the reformation array and following entries. You further need at least 1 fermentation vat. Multiple vats can be used to process multiple sulfurs in parallel. So we're going to need a fermentation vat from Theurgy. Vat, not cat, from Theurgy. Fermentation vat. And that looks like it needs a barrel. Cool. And cool. That works for me. Fermentation vat. And then we needed the reformation array. So remind me, what is that? This thing, the incubator? I don't think so. Reformation array. Is it this thing? Reformation. I think this whole setup is the reformation array. Yeah, that's this guy. So this guy is a reformation array. Okay, neat. Easy enough. Then we're going to need quartz sulfur, right? So I think I might have some alchemical sulfur quartz ready to go, right? So that's cool. And then target sulfur, now you need 2 sulfur of the target type. 1 sulfur that will be converted into niter for our intermediate reformation, and 1 sulfur for the final reformation of all our niter into the target sulfur. For this demonstration, we will use sulfur to iron. Right. So I need a sulfur, alchemical sulfur, and 2 alchemical iron. So I might... I'm not sure if I'm going to reuse the same setup here. I guess we'll find out. So that makes the salts. It's this guy. So I want to get a couple iron. Or it's actually this guy. I'm going to get a couple extras while I'm at it, by the way. So that should get me some alchemical sulfur iron. Hooray! And remember, I need 2 of them. Cool? Sounds good to me. So I'm making 4 just to, you know, be a little extra careful. You know. There we go, 4. Okay. So that has this piece done. Fermentation. We need 2 different niters. Some alchemical niter common gems as source that we want to convert, and at least 1 alchemical niter common metals as a target. Right-click the fermentation vat with the ingredients to place them inside. Alchemical sulfur quartz, water bucket, sugar or any crops or better. Fermentation starter. Okay. Now, does this need, like... I might want to check the book over here to see what this... that's exaltation? Is that this thing? Fermentation vats enable a process called alchemical fermentation. Only works when closed. Shift right click with an empty hand to open or close the vat. When closed, no items or fluids can be put in or taken out. Place the vat on the ground, then right click it with the ingredients, usually the stuff. Right click the block with a water bucket or simply supply via pipes. Shift right click the vat with an empty hand to close it. Both items and fluids could also be piped in and out of the vat, or hoppers can be used. Okay. Oh, you can use redstone control. Excuse me, sir. Rudeness. I'm outside. I'm trying to learn alchemy. Zombies attacking me. Not cool. Not cool, zombies. Not cool. But basically, it looks like the vats can, like, receive redstone signals to open and close, and then emit redstone signals when they have an item in their output slot. So, like, this is a way we could potentially automate these in the future. And there's, like, a whole bunch of instructions on how to automate it, so that's kind of cool. And digestion vat is how we go from one tier to another, and I assume that's, like, coming up next. So we'll skip that detail for now. Efficient fermentation. Use less crops for more niter. Okay, so basically, I want to understand how this works, because I'm a little confused, but I think we'll check it out. Right-click the fermentation vat with the ingredients to place them inside. First, alchemical sulfur quartz. And then a water bucket. Then sugar. Or any crops, or better, right? And then fermentation starter. This thing. Oh, which I have to make in a fermentation vat, which I guess we'll try in a second. I'll make another fermentation vat. How's that sound? Cool. So over here, we'll do the fermentation starter, which is going to be 100 ml buckets of Sal Almanac stuff. I might get a tank for this real quick. Just so I can get a bucket's worth. There we go. And then it's going to be any kind of wood with sugar, or any kind of sapling. They all look like the same output, right? So I'll just do like a seed and a sugar, right? Does it matter? Probably not. Seed. I'll just do 1 for now, but it looks like I can get 10 per bucket. Seed and sugar. These might be fun to automate, right? And then shift right click to close the bucket, I assume. So, hey, look, it worked. Cool. Okay. And then I put the alchemical start. Okay, so in order to get this, so the sugar and then the fermentation starter, right? It's not letting me click it in. Alchemical sulfur quartz, yes. Water bucket, sugar, fermentation starter. You know, it doesn't have sugar in there for these guys, so I think sugar may not be necessary. I'm just going to put the quartz and then close it and see what happens. So this might get me what I want. I don't know. Are you working? I can't tell. Hey, yeah, you are working. Nice. Okay. So that got me alchemical niter gems. So then I assume I want to do the same thing. So you're going to go in there with... I guess it can be sugar or fermentation starter and water. Am I seeing that right? So that would be you and sugar, and if I close you, that should work. Maybe. Maybe. Right? Because if we're looking at it, it can either be planks or egg or that or that or that, but it could also be fermentation starter. It's like, I don't know if that's optional or what the deal is, but I guess we'll find out. Yeah, look, that got me that too. So I think it's not sugar. Oh, sugar or any crops or better fermentation starter. That's not a new line. So it's either sugar, any crops, or the starter. I think that's probably like more efficient because like, you know, for very little effort, we got like 20 of those things. So I think that's just an efficiency thing. But to be fair, we have like infinite sugar and crops, so whatever. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, I understand now. Right, so we got these two things. Shift right click the fermentation vat with an empty hand to close the vat and start the fermentation. Once it opens again, the process is complete. Right click with an empty hand to retrieve it. Cool, done and done. You can provide all these ingredients in bulk. The process will then repeat until all ingredients are consumed. You can also shift right click with an empty hand to open the vat and interrupt the process to take out the intermediate result. Remember, the more niter you produce from quartz, the more iron you can get in the end. Cool. Okay. So that's neat. And this is efficient fermentation. A lot of fermentation ingredients are used up. Consequently, it's more important to find a way to reduce the amount of crops needed. By pre-fermenting crops with sugar and sal ammoniac, a highly concentrated material called fermentation starter, and very small amounts of that are needed, right? So we could, so like if we were doing like 20 of these, right? Like say we wanted to make 20 things, it would be either like, you know, 20 sugar or 1 sugar and 1 seed and 100, and that gives you 20 fermentation starter. That's cool. It's definitely a little bit more efficient. Okay, so niter to niter reformation. So this is where like the real cool part comes in, I think. Can now be converted into the metals. This works exactly as already described in the reformation. Simply place the common gems niter as a source and the common metals niter as a target in the reformation array. Supply mercury flux and wait for it to finish. Cool. Okay, so that's cool. So source will be the gem. Target will be the metals. Hey, cool. And we converted 1 gem into 2 metals. Got it? Got it? So that's cool. That's cool, right? So like one mineral turns into two mineral, I guess. Well, no, one metal turns into two minerals. Okay. And then two metals turns into one gem. And one gem... Well, that's cool. Yeah. Okay, got it? So there's math here, right? So if we look at the recipe for these, we can see it's two minerals to make a metal, right? Or it's one gem to make two metals. And I assume it costs two metals to make one gem, right? Here it is. Two metals makes one gem. Yes. And that was described on one of these here. Generally, two metals convert to one gem and vice versa. So one gem converts to two metals. And that's what we just saw. We got two metals from one gem. Cool. Okay. And then finally, we have to like turn this into iron. The alchemical niter common metals can now be converted into alchemical sulfur iron via reformation. This works exactly as already described in reformation. So simply place the common metal niter as the source and target iron sulfur, and the iron sulfur as the target, and that's cool. So basically, you go into the source, and then one of these goes into the target, and we should be cool, right? So now it's going to turn the alchemical niter into alchemical sulfur of iron because we targeted alchemical sulfur of iron. I get it. So basically, like, you break it down into a simpler, like a more basic form, if you will, right? So like you can convert, you know, anything that's a gem. Can we search for gems? Yes. So like quartz is a common gem. Certus quartz is a common gem. Lapis is a common gem. Very easily you can convert these all between each other because they're all common gems. Okay? Or you can break them down into a common gem niter, which can then be converted into a metal niter, a common metal niter, and then that can be converted to any common metal, like zinc, or nickel, or osmium, or desh, which is apparently a common metal, or lead, or iron, right? Or alternatively, you can take iron and convert it to lead, or lead and convert it to iron. But you can't, for example, take a common metal and convert it to a precious metal yet. But I'm suspecting that's what we're about to do next, which is what this next chapter is about. And then we can incubate it with the process that we already know, right? So we go through this over here, and assuming we have mercury shards, alchemical salt, we take the quartz from before that we were working on, we throw some charcoal in here, and we're good to go. And now we should be incubating that alchemical sulfur iron into iron ingots. So that's, we turned lapis into quartz, and then we turned quartz into iron. And totally we could have just turned lapis into iron if we wanted to. So it's like equivalent exchangey, just not, you know, insert here and extract there type of thing. It's just a little bit more of an automation process, which to me, because I like automating complex machines, that works, right? Like I'm cool with that. So now let's check out the next thing, which is going to be upgrading, right? So like a common metal like iron to a more rare metal like gold, right? Or silver or whatever. So let's do it, okay? Exaltation is the elevation of matter from one tier to another. Common to rare, rare to whatever the next one was, you get it. Breach is the final barrier of transformation, allowing you to obtain any material you desire. Due to the nature of exaltation, it is a very costly process. Matter cannot simply be made more valuable. Thus, there is a loss or gain depending on the direct conversion. Generally, 4 units of the lower tier are required to 1 of the tier above, and vice versa. So I'm guessing that means 4 iron turns into 1 gold. The core of the exaltation process is the digestion of niter into other niter in a digestion vat. Digestion needs a catalyzer in the form of purified gold, which will be explained soon. 3 steps. First, the sulfur to be transformed is fermented alchemically into niter. Example, iron sulfur into common metals niter. Then 4 of that niter can be digested into 1 niter of the desired type. Makes sense. Optionally, that niter can be reformed into a niter of another type. For example, we could turn rare metals into rare gems. Finally, that niter can be reformed again into the desired sulfur. Example, rare metals niter into gold sulfur. The following entries will guide you through the alchemical conversion of iron to gold, right? This assumes that you already obtained at least 4 iron sulfur and 1 gold sulfur. So why don't we go get those and a gold, right? Because we're going to need to target it, right? So we have to come over here, put them in there, and speed this up a little bit, right? And then throw some gold in there. Cool. So now we've got that. Neat. And then I assume we're going to want to convert that into the other kind, right? So we're going to want, well, we'll find out, right? So exaltation consists of digestion of an already known fermentation and reformation. View the apparatus category to craft and use the required apparatus. Once again, you need to set up a reformation array. The usage was already discussed in reformation array. Finally, you also need at least 1 digestion vat. Multiple vats can be used to process multiple niters in parallel. Okay, so we're going to want a vat from theurgy, and that will be digestion vat. So you're going to need a decorated pot, and then you're going to need some sandstone. And that should be cool. Okay. So I'm going to stick you here-ish for now. That should be a thing, right? And then we can go to the apparatus page to find out how this works. Are required for alchemical, whereby alchemical niters can be converted into higher or lower tiers. This is required to convert objects of different value into each other, for example, iron to gold. Unlike other apparatus, the digestion vat only works when closed. Shift right click with an empty hand to close the vat. Place the vat on the ground, then right click it with the ingredients, usually alchemical niter and purified gold. Right click, so we need alchemical niter, so we have to convert our iron and gold to niters, right? I think. Right click the block with sal ammoniac bucket or supply via pipes. Shift right click the vat with an empty hand to close it. Both items and fluids can also be piped in and out of the vat, or hoppers can be used. So I think we want to convert these 4, and I'm assuming if I put 4 sugar in there, we'd be cool. Or 4 fermentations, because I have them. And then shift click it to close, and then it should convert. And I guess my curiosity will be, does it do 1 at a time, or does it do all 4 at once? And I'm guessing since it used like half a bucket last time, it'll use... Oh, it uses a 1/4 bucket at a time. Okay, that's not bad. And it does do 1 at a time, and it should, in theory, be tick acceleratable. Sweet. Cool. So I've got my 4 alchemical... Well, I've got 5, but I need 4. Right? So you're going to go in there, and then we need purified gold, which I assume this thing's about to tell me how to make. Required items. Target sulfur. Cool. All right, so purified gold acts as a catalyst for niter digestion, right? And basically what we're looking at is... It does not need purified gold as a catalyst. Okay, instead, any alchemical salt can be used. The salt will connect with the impurities in the gold and draw them out. Okay. Right-click the digestion vat with the ingredients placed inside. A gold ingot, any alchemical salt, and a water bucket. All right. So we're going to need a gold ingot, any alchemical salt, and a water bucket. I assume that's it, right? Shift right click with an empty hand to close the vat and start digestion. Once it opens again, the process is complete. Right click with an empty hand to retrieve the purified gold. Cool. And look, it's closed on the top. That's neat. And then in theory, in a few seconds, it'll do something. Hooray, 20 purified gold. Not bad. Okay. Very cool. All right. And then it used up all the water. Nice. Okay. So then, fermentation. Once again, we need niter. So we already got the niter, right? I've got the 4 alchemical niters, right? So I'm guessing they go in there with the gold, right? Am I right to assume that? 4 common metals to a rare metal. Right-click the digestion vat with the ingredients, place them inside. And we need a sal ammoniac bucket as well, along with the purified gold. Okay. Gold is not needed for downgrade, only upgrade. Check JEI for more recipes. Good to know. So I need one of these dudes. So what I should get is theurgy. Give me some of you. That'll make things cooler, right? Then this goes in there, and then empty hand, and that should convert the 4 common metals into 1 rare metal. Cool? In theory. Hooray! Rare metals. Nice. Okay. Not so bad. Okay. And then from here, we can reform it into gold, right? And I assume that this process is as simple as saying, you know, our target is gold, our source is the rare metals, niter, and then we're good to go. And that gets this dude, which can go in here, and with a little bit of coal, will make me a gold. Nice. Okay, I like it. So that's kind of neat. I definitely like that process, right? So we can absolutely do some cool stuff with that, right? So like netherite, for example, right? That's going to be, I assume, more than rare, right? So if I do that, and I have to find a way to make this not have to constantly be fed charcoal, because that's like the biggest annoyance with this right now, is constantly having to feed charcoal into these pyromantic brazier thingies, braziers. I never know how to pronounce them, and everybody yells at me for it, right? So precious metals. So I should be able to get like 4 gold. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get 32 gold. Well, no, I'm just going to start with 4. I want to make sure I understand this process correctly, right? So 4 gold, which are 4 rares, right? So then we want to break them down with water and either sugar or fermentation dudes. Doesn't matter which. Shift click to close. Speed it up. Needs more water. And we can automate that with piping in and all that good stuff, right? Don't forget to shift click to close again now that we put water in there so they can produce, right? Cool. And then you guys combine with a purified gold. Hopefully that works. There we go. Precious metals. Nice. Okay. And then we come over here and I say target netherite precious metals, and that converted 4 gold into 1 netherite ingot. Which basically, if you think about it, completely eliminates the need for ancient debris. Right? Am I wrong on that? I don't think so. It just completely eliminates ancient debris from the equation because netherite ingots are 4 gold and 4 netherite scrap. I'm now saying 4 gold equals netherite. All it does is it replaces, like, you know, a couple of the... It's extra steps, but, I mean, that's kind of cool, right? And I could do that as much as I want, right? So I should be able to take, like, let's say, put U32 in there, right? And I'm assuming that you burned out, so I need to... And there's a thing, remember there's like there's one of those little dudes that I can put somewhere that'll basically do the thing that we're doing, right? So we take these 32 alchemical gold, we put them in a fermentation vat with 32 sugar, and a bunch of water, right? And then we close it, speed it up a little bit, because on camera. And when it runs out of water, I'll refill and close it again. Cool. take those dudes, put them in there with 8 of these. Now, what's funny is I have to put these in first, it looks like. But then close this and it works. I don't know if that's a bug, but it wasn't letting me put the purified gold in after I put in stuff, right? So then that all converts, and then we put these in the source, and now we should be cooking. Cooking. Netherite. Cool. I like it. So like it's converting the precious metal into netherite. Is that neat? I think that's neat. I feel like that's neat, right? So then you upgrade to you, which can be reformed into netherite, or we could do 2 precious minerals, right? Or we could make 2 of these turn into a precious gem, which can convert into like diamonds, right? So that's cool, right? And then there's our netherite. Which we speed that up a little bit. Nope. This one up a little bit. And we've got 8 netherite. That's kind of cool. I think we should definitely consider doing some form of automation with this. This is just like a very complex process that I'm going to need to break down and figure out how to automate. But I think it's kind of cool. What do you guys think? You know what else I think? It's wrapping up point. So Dowell20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Let's come back next time and figure out like a cool way to automate this. I don't have an exact idea of how that's going to work out, but it should be cool, right? It seems very doable. Like, it definitely seems like we could do some kind of cool automation with this whole setup. Hello, villager raid. I don't feel like dealing with you guys right now. But I will. So for now, Dowell20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.